Let me ask you this. How valuable is your time? When you look back, are there moments that were clearly not worth it? The truth is that every second of your life is precious, and you only have 24 hours in a day. Time passes and never comes back. Every choice about how you spend it profoundly impacts every aspect of your existence. If you live worried about other people's problems and expectations, you are wasting your chance to grow. You are throwing away your most priceless asset, time. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great names in Stoicism, said that we have power over our minds, not over external events. Understand this, and you will find strength. This means that you can only control yourself, not what others do. So why waste energy on things that are beyond your control? Why live for external distractions when you can start building a better life right now, from the inside out? Today, I want to invite you to dive with me into 6 Stoic principles that will help you focus on yourself and stop wasting time. But first, comment. I focus on myself and stop wasting my time. This phrase can be the first step to changing the way you see life. We live surrounded by images of success, beauty, and achievements, often constructed only to feed comparison. This distracts us from the true purpose of life, to evolve based on our own path and development. Marcus Aurelius said, "Spend no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This phrase invites us to look within, instead of seeking validation from the outside. Constant comparison steals the energy we could be using to truly grow. Instead of measuring our journey based on personal potential and not on the short-term standards of others, the time we spend comparing ourselves to others is the time we waste in the pursuit of personal growth. As you reflect on your life, consider the immense value of time and the importance of using it wisely. Time is the most valuable resource we have. It is limited, and once it is gone, it never comes back. The ticking of the clock should not be ignored, for every moment contains potential for personal growth, reflection, and progress. However, we waste time not only physically but also mentally, comparing our lives to those of others. In doing so, we deprive ourselves of the opportunity to truly invest in our own potential. Every time we look around, comparing our lives to those of others, we temporarily divert our focus from our own path. In those moments, we are not living for ourselves, but for the expectations or achievements that have been set for others. This is the subtle but dangerous trap of comparison. It is a thief of time and energy. Investing in your own development, however, is a different matter entirely. It is not about external symbols of success such as money, status, or recognition, but rather about the commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. This is a journey that only you can undertake. Contrary to the fleeting and often distorted images we see on social media, the real you. Growth comes from continuous improvement and self-awareness. It is easy to get lost in the noise of external comparisons, but it is only when we stop and listen to our inner voice that we can make real progress. Self-awareness is the first step in this process. Understanding yourself is the key to unlocking the door to growth. Without self-awareness, any effort to improve will be misguided because you are acting without knowing where you are. How can you grow if you do not know where yours is? The starting point: if you do not fully understand your strengths and weaknesses, you will struggle when facing challenges. Stoic philosophers taught that self-knowledge is essential to living an ethical and fulfilling life. Epictetus, one of the great masters of Stoicism, left us with essential advice. First, know yourself, and then adorn yourself accordingly. This powerful phrase reminds us that self-knowledge is the basis for any true change. Only when we understand our virtues, flaws, and limits can we set goals that truly drive us. And these goals don't have to be immediately grandiose, but real, achievable, and aligned with our potential. Oprah Winfrey's career is a clear example of this. In the early 1980s, she was an unknown figure in the world of television and faced significant obstacles, from rejections to looks of disdain. Instead of giving in to the pressure of comparing herself to other hosts or programs, Oprah made a courageous choice: invest in her authenticity. She developed her own style and connected deeply with her audience. With constant dedication, she transformed the Oprah Winfrey Show into a global phenomenon, not only in terms of ratings, but also in terms of human impact. More than entertainment, her program offered viewers emotional and spiritual value. Oprah focused on her personal journey and, as a result, redefined the concept of success. She did not get distracted by comparisons. She focused on improving. Every small victory strengthens our self-confidence and fuels our desire to keep moving forward. Even the smallest of achievements build a solid foundation for growth. Each achievement is proof that progress is possible, and the more we focus on our own development, the less we feel the need to compete or compare ourselves to others. But the danger of comparison still lurks. When we measure our lives by someone else's yardstick, we end up feeding insecurities and eroding our self-esteem. However, when we turn our gaze inward and value our own path, we regain power over our emotions and self-worth. We no longer need external approval because confidence comes from within. True victory is not in surpassing others, but in surpassing yourself. What about you? How much time have you wasted today looking at other people's lives? How many times have you wished you could live a different reality? Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the key to a full life is not in following temporary models, but in developing our character. The time to stop comparing yourself and start focusing on what really matters is now. Embrace progress instead of perfection. It is common to fall into the trap of trying to be flawless, seeking an idealized version of yourself. This only increases internal pressure and paralyzes real progress. Stoic philosophy, with Marcus Aurelius as a reference, teaches that constant progress, not perfection, is the path to a purposeful life. Life is a journey of inner construction. Each step taken, even small ones, is more valuable than waiting for an ideal moment that may never come. True growth comes from consistency, patience, and the courage to improve a little each day. And this begins by dealing with the negativity that surrounds us, both external and internal. Keeping quiet in the face of criticism is not always an act of omission and can be a demonstration of self-control. Reacting less and reflecting more is a way of preserving self-esteem. When you learn not to let yourself be shaken by toxic comments, you gain power over your emotions and protect your energy. The most subtle enemy lives in our minds, and phrases like "I can't do it" or "this isn't for me" erode our progress. Changing this discourse is essential. Saying "I can learn" and "I can evolve" transforms the way we act. The way we talk to ourselves defines the path we follow. Letting go of the past is liberating, and carrying around hurts and regrets only slows down our growth. Forgiveness, whether of others or of ourselves, does not erase the mistake, but it does eliminate the emotional weight it carries. By letting go of it, we make room for the new and the possible. Positive habits sustain progress. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people, seeking out inspiring content, cultivating gratitude even on difficult days are practices that build a resilient mind. J.K. Rowling, before global success, faced poverty and rejection, but persisted. Her habit of writing daily and her faith in her own potential took her to the top. Progress is based on discipline and patience, and success does not happen all at once. It is woven through small, daily victories. Focus, consistency, and achievable goals keep the momentum going and build self-confidence. Each small achievement proves that progress is real and possible. It is not about being perfect, but about continuing to move forward. Value each step, even the small ones. Focus on yourself, create consistent habits, protect your energy, and remember, it is continuous progress, not an unattainable ideal, that builds a full life. Imagine for a moment that time is the most precious resource you have, something that once lost can never be recovered. Marcus Aurelius, with his ancient wisdom, teaches us that every moment wasted is a moment that will never come back. This awareness invites us to reflect on how we have been using our hours and minutes. Are we investing our energy in what really matters? In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications that flash every minute, social media that traps us in endless cycles, pointless meetings, and empty tasks that take us away from our real goals. Marcus Aurelius understood that living with intention requires us to be vigilant with our time. Protecting that time is an act of self-respect and also a silent signal to the world. My life has direction. Rejecting distractions starts with identifying what is taking us away from what we value most. How many times have you found yourself aimlessly scrolling through your phone or immersed in irrelevant emails while your plans take a back seat? Setting limits and specific times for these activities may seem simple, but it has a huge impact on your productivity and mental clarity. Managing your time well doesn't mean filling your schedule. It's about giving quality to what you do. When you allow yourself to focus deeply on a task without interruptions, you access a state of mindfulness that makes your work more efficient and meaningful. Stoic philosophy encourages us to value not just the results, but the process. Every second spent on purpose is a step toward your best. Creating intentional habits strengthens this focus. Just as training your body requires consistency, strengthening your mind requires daily practice. Start by dedicating 15 minutes a day to a meaningful activity, free from interruptions. Little by little, this practice creates a powerful habit that can transform your productivity and boost your growth. The environment you choose also matters. The people around you directly influence how you spend your time. If you're surrounded by people who distract you or sap your energy, it may be time to rethink some of your connections. Epicurus reminded us of the importance of choosing our companions wisely as they shape our path, for better or for worse. Cutting out sources of negativity, whether external or internal, is essential to keeping your mind clear. Often the noise doesn't just come from networks or the demands of others, but from our own sabotaging thoughts. Creating a space where positive ideas can flourish starts with having the courage to say no to the things that drain your energy. And sometimes that means having difficult conversations or even breaking ties that no longer serve you. Taking care of your time is really taking care of yourself. It's not just about efficiency, it's about dignity. Every choice you make about how you spend your hours shapes the person you're becoming. When you take control of how you spend your time, you don't just increase your productivity, you declare to the world and to yourself that your life has purpose. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminds us that time is limited and precious. Every decision we make about how we spend it has an impact on the future we're building. When we stop letting distractions rule our days, we can move more consciously toward the life we want to live. True transformation begins when you start asking yourself, where am I investing my time and energy today? Harness some of that energy and check out our channel to see if you're already subscribed. It's quick and easy. What would your life be like if you intentionally decided to focus completely on yourself? This is not a call to selfishness, but rather a profound invitation to reclaim your energy and time, redirecting them toward becoming who you truly want to be. At the heart of personal development is the ability to set clear goals and treat them as if you were building muscles in a workout routine. Think of an athlete preparing for a competition. Each workout builds your endurance, hones your skills, and prepares you for greater challenges. Likewise, when you commit daily to your goals, you build resilience and strengthen your capabilities. If your goal is to learn a new skill, such as programming or public speaking, sustained effort can make the impossible a reality. But before you can achieve extraordinary results, you need to remove what is not serving you. Just as you clear away the rubble before you can build, eliminating toxic influences, distractions, and unnecessary commitments is essential. Consider the example of Jane, a professional who, by saying no to empty social obligations and unproductive habits like excessive internet use, found room to earn a new certification and secure a promotion. Her story shows the transformative power of a well-organized life. Another essential pillar of growth is cultivating a curious mind that is open to learning. Reading, listening to podcasts, exploring new ideas, all of these things broaden your vision and keep your mind sharp. A leader who reads about industry trends daily, for example, will be better prepared to face challenges creatively and stand out in a competitive environment. However, none of this will be effective without the backbone of discipline. Discipline is that steady hand that guides you when motivation wavers. Think of a student preparing for an important test. Even on difficult days, it is their disciplined routine that keeps them moving. Discipline doesn't hold them back, it sustains them. Patience is also essential on this journey. Growth is rarely linear. There will be obstacles, delays, and silent phases. Consider the gardener who plants a tree and tends it for months, even though he sees no apparent growth. He trusts the process, knowing that roots form before the tree blossoms. Learning to value the journey more than the destination enriches the experience. Life's milestones pass, but the habits, lessons, and virtues acquired along the way stay with you. A marathon runner's satisfaction comes not only from the finish line, but from the discipline and resilience cultivated during the preparation. To maximize your growth, it is essential to fiercely protect your time. Time is finite and valuable, but it is often wasted on trivial things. If you treated time like money, would you spend it on things that don't add value? Taking a mindful approach means investing your time wisely in activities that align with your real priorities. Identify what truly matters to you and connect your daily actions to those values. If your health is a priority, make time to exercise and eat well. If your relationships are important, spend quality time with the people you love. These conscious choices will help you make progress in the areas that matter most. Another essential step is learning to say no. This simple word protects your time and energy from tasks that distract you from your goals. Imagine being asked to take on extra responsibilities at work that aren't aligned with your goals. By politely declining, you can maintain your focus and build your self-esteem. Setting boundaries is vital to personal growth. They create a safe space where you can thrive. For example, when a freelancer sets a set work schedule, they protect not only their productivity but also their personal life. Without boundaries, your energy becomes vulnerable to outside pressures. In short, focusing on yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It takes discipline, intention, and courage to say yes to your growth and no to distractions. Let this journey be guided by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who constantly reminds us of the power of inner focus. What about you? How have you been protecting your time and energy? What boundaries have you set to protect your peace and progress? Share in the comments and inspire others. Setting boundaries is not just an act of self-care. It is a way of honoring your potential and your journey. On the journey of self-development, one of the most liberating shifts is to let go of the obsession with perfection and embrace continuous progress. This simple yet profound mindset shift relieves the pressure of always trying to be flawless and, in turn, strengthens our resilience through constant growth and self-focus. First, consider this. Are you trying to achieve impossible standards, or are you committing to gradual, sustainable improvement? When we choose to value progress, we recognize that small, consistent steps lead to lasting change. This builds a solid foundation of resilience, emotional flexibility, and the ability to persist, even in the face of failure. Imagine someone preparing for a marathon. Instead of chasing the best time, they celebrate every extra mile completed, every second less on the clock, and even the days when they simply manage to keep up. These small triumphs fuel their inner strength and reinforce their confidence in their ability to improve. Stoic philosophy sees failure not as a burden, but as fuel for improvement. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the obstacle to action becomes the path itself, an opportunity to learn. By approaching setbacks with this perspective, we conserve emotional energy and develop practical tools to face and overcome challenges. Focusing on progress also makes us more adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and those who cling to the comfort of perfection often become destabilized by the unexpected. On the other hand, those who prioritize the essential find creative ways to adjust course and move forward. Think of a professional dealing with a project that undergoes unforeseen changes. Instead of becoming paralyzed, they review priorities and propose innovative solutions and end up achieving even more than they had planned. Another vital point is the ability to receive feedback. Instead of seeing criticism as a personal attack, those who are focused on their own progress see it as a compass. A writer who receives harsh suggestions from a mentor can, instead of becoming discouraged, use this information to improve their writing. This willingness to listen and continually improve accelerates growth. Accepting imperfection is an essential part of this process. Often, the fear of making mistakes paralyzes us and prevents us from reaching our potential. Marcus Aurelius teaches that what gets in the way becomes the way. Perseverance becomes our ally, especially when we understand that building something meaningful, whether it's a skill, a project, or a relationship, takes time, patience, and consistency. Being resilient means embracing the process and not getting attached to immediate results. Just like a gardener who plants a tree and understands that growth happens underground before it becomes visible, we also need to trust the natural rhythm of evolution. Each stage of development carries value. True success is not in achieving an unattainable ideal, but in feeling fulfilled by the consistent effort and inner harmony we cultivate. This way of living strengthens our emotional foundation, equips us to face the ups and downs with poise, and connects us with a deeper meaning. As we trade perfection for presence, we feel more joy in the journey and less frustration along the way. Progress becomes our direction and imperfection our ally. Ultimately, this approach not only transforms us individually, but also inspires those around us. When we prioritize internal focus, Stoic wisdom shows us that we already have within us the strength necessary to build a life with true and lasting meaning. Change your attitude and leave your like now. It helps us to see that this content helped you in some way. Imagine yourself in the middle of a room full of anxious voices, all talking at the same time about success, fame, and distant goals. Each one tries to impress with grandiose feats, but in the corner of the room someone remains silent, attentive only to their own thoughts. Without showing off, this person silently questions, "Is what I am doing really important to me, or am I just trying to please others?" This image perfectly conveys the essence of the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who understood the power of patience and mindfulness of what truly matters, one's own journey. When you stop wasting energy on things that are beyond your control, you discover that focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is a conscious and profoundly transformative lifestyle. Every day we make hundreds of small decisions: how to react to challenges, what to spend our time on, where to put our energy. And it is these small choices that build the foundation of our future. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This quote reminds us of the power we have to shape our reality by focusing on what really matters, our values, principles, and actions. When you commit to your dreams, you are not just taking action. You are making a silent declaration that your goals are worthy of attention. This requires a strong mindset, guided by your own values, not by the need for external approval. Think of a marathon runner who does not run to beat others, but to surpass himself. He is not distracted by the runners next to him. He is not concerned with the looks of others. His focus is on every breath, every step. When you cross the finish line, your greatest reward is the knowledge that you have honored your own efforts with dignity and truth. Focusing on your own path requires courage. Life will inevitably present trials, failures, and temptations that test your strength. But each obstacle, no matter how challenging, carries within it the seed of a lesson. Visualize yourself climbing a steep mountain. Each step, each wound on your hands strengthens your spirit and brings you closer to the summit. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action promotes action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Respecting your path is building self-confidence and freeing yourself from the trap of competing with others. This doesn't mean you need to isolate yourself from the world, but rather understand that your pace, direction, and goals must be defined by yourself. Instead of seeking validation from the opinions of others, look within and ask yourself, am I living according to my own values? Life is about choices, and prioritizing what is essential to you prevents you from getting lost in the whirlwind of comparisons and external expectations. Consider the story of a gardener who spent his life tending a single tree. He was unfazed by criticism or distractions. His attention was focused on the daily cultivation, and years later, when the tree blossomed and bore fruit, he was not seeking applause. He found meaning in the quiet dedication of each day. His journey was its own reward. Of course, there will be difficult days, moments of doubt, fatigue, or confusion. But remember, every small step matters. Patience is a quiet virtue that confirms your inner strength. Learn to trust that the right choices you make today will pave the way for a more fulfilling life that is aligned with who you truly are. In this video, we explore the power of turning your gaze inward and stopping wasting time on things that don't contribute to your growth. This is a valuable lesson that Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy have taught us. True emotional freedom comes from focus, self-control, and the wisdom of living according to what has real meaning. Now tell me, what makes you feel like you're wasting your time, and what will you do to change that? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey may inspire others to find their own path again. If Marcus Aurelius had a YouTube channel, he would say, "Don't put off what strengthens your mind." So don't wait for the next crisis to seek wisdom. Subscribe now, activate the bell, and walk with me towards self-control, purpose, and inner freedom. The time for change is now.